Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution! Brought to you by BlackRifleCoffee.com.
Oh, come on. Welcome to Ross Patterson Revolution. It's a fine day. It's a real fine day. How are you doing today, Jables?
I'm great.
I think it's a lie. I think that's a lie. I'm gonna call you on that to start the top of the show.
Why are you saying that?
I heard you on the phone with somebody and you weren't happy about it, and I don't know why.
Okay.
It was literally right before we got on air, and I was like, I'll just ask her better on air. What's
Oh, nice.
What's the haps in Jables world?
Okay. So, as everyone knows, you're the customer service guy.
Messiah. Yeah.
You deal with them. Yep. You yell at them.
I hate them.
You hate them.
Yeah.
You can talk to them however you want. You get what you want.
Yeah.
Somehow in the end, you end up getting the refund or the thing or whatever it is that you're bitching about.
Yeah, and I don't do it without justification, by the way. I don't. Like, I don't yell at people. Like, I don't even want to waste my time. Yeah, exactly. So unless it's a financial thing, I'm not going to go out of my way to try to, get $2 back. But
yeah.
But continue.
I mean, we could make this a whole thing. Like, we could make it a gripe corner. Like,
Yeah,
this could be a thing.
fire away.
Lots of things annoying.
Fire away. Go ahead.
But listen. So I usually let you deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So today I was in a mood.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? Let me take a crack at it.
Sure.
Right? Like,
sure.
because again, I do not do this to customer service. I either ask for the manager or I just don't do it. I don't like yelling at people that it's not their problem or they didn't do it. They're just showing up to work in their shitty life in cubicle.
But here's the thing. You feel bad about doing it, whereas they're told on the other end of the phone to, hey, talk these customers down so they don't get a refund. They don't get
anything that you want. So here's what happened. I got some boots for my birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday, Jables.
Thanks. So I got some boots.
Yep.
The outside of the boot said the right size. The order says the right size. The boots inside the box, wrong size.
Okay.
Now, that's a classic case of just do your fucking job. That person had one job. Whoever did that had one fucking job. Put the boots in the box that says, hey, you know what I mean?
I feel like they do this to women on purpose.
Why?
This happens to you a lot. This has happened.
Does.
It's probably happened about 4 times since we've been together, and it's always.
It's not a huge problem, you guys. It's third world.
Not a huge problem. Champagne problem to have.
Champagne problems, but
when you're ordering women's shoes, they always send the wrong size.
I guess they do. I don't.
Why?
Notice. I don't know.
Okay, so
I don't know.
What was Steve Madden's response?
So I called up Steve.
Sure.
I have his personal. No,
right.
I found that it was Steve Madden's Freebirds, by the way, are the best boots of all time. I'm not talking shit about the boots. I love them.
Yeah.
So I call up Steven and the customer service, and it's American Tony.
Ah,
do you know what I
overseas.
mean?
Yeah.
It's overseas. And
fucking
I go,
hate him.
Fucking this is your area. As I'm doing it, I know you should be doing this.
Sure.
This is why you handle all the stuff like this. I can't do it. So I'm just here's the deal, buddy. It's happened to me before.
Right.
And being bitchy white girl about it a little bit.
Right.
It's sir, and he's just I can't find your order number. I can't find your order number.
Yeah. Clearly not American.
Here, not American. I'm I have the thing right in front of me. I have the number that I'm calling right in front of me. I'm sorry, sir. I'm going to do a visual. So sorry if you need to watch the thing. I have a letter.
Yeah.
Okay, that's Sharpie, and that is XO Steven, it says there, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So I go, sir, I say I have a letter from Steven right here. I'm calling you about Steven's stuff.
Right.
What is it that you can do? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I need you to, and it's sounding so weird to me in my voice. So he goes, there's a different line that you call for that. And I'm
okay.
For what? That specific brand. And
right.
I'm Freebird by Steven. This is what I called. Whatever. I'm confused and bitchy and just fine. And I think I literally said fine. I'll take the number. I'm ready. Like talking like that.
Sure.
So he gives me the number.
Okay.
I call it.
And
I don't say, he goes like, have a nice day. And I'm like, bitchy.
Yeah.
You bitch, like whatever.
Yeah.
I'll get the number. I got what I wanted from you, bud.
Yeah.
So I call the number.
Yes, I am a teacher, but it's not children I teach. Easy as ABC, and I'm here to show you what every woman wants. When I'm through with you, you'll understand why they call me a slut. I can't wait to teach you to pull out that hot poker you're hiding. And let's get started. If you're an experienced caller.
This is what happens when
you got a sex number.
I got a sex line, and the guy.
What are the first 4 digits? Just read those.
It's 888.
Usually it's a 900 number.
I know, and I go, okay, this is legit, right? I'm like, write it down. All right, dude.
Pull out your hot poker.
And I'm like,
who talks like that?
Are you kidding?
Man,
they're fighting back.
Yeah.
Customer service is fighting back. And then also, this is why I don't do this, you guys. Like, that's the shit that happens. I be a little bit bitchy and like demand to have my thing fixed. And he sends me to a sex line.
Oddly enough, this just popped up on my computer. Return shipping label for Freebirds.
Okay.
So whatever you said.
Listen, I called a completely different number.
Got the job done. I don't know if you're doing this for me at this point.
What?
If you're calling this number for yourself, a little bored around the house, and you're looking to spice up some things. Like, give me that hot poker.
You guys,
Who calls it a hot poker?
On the phone, like, and I said out loud at the recording, just like, are you fucking kidding me?
So they gave you a sex number.
Yes.
To call. That's a new one.
Because they knew they couldn't find my order number.
Sure.
So they knew I wasn't like a customer that was gonna like fuck with them.
So do you think they did this on purpose?
Yes. What do you
That's
think?
A ballsy move.
What do you think?
I would think if they were doing this on purpose to a lot of people, it would be a thing online where people would be like, hey, I called Steve Madden's shoes, and guess what? They gave me this dirty sex number. I mean, that chick said she was a little slut wagon who needed to be
called
fucked.
Back, but then what? And then what? I'm bitchy again. And they give me, and they're just like, whatever.
Well, look, you were bitchy enough that they got the return label, so you're good to go on that. But
can you believe that?
I think that happens with women's shoes a lot, and I'll tell you why.
I think that kind of shit happens with women.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be bitchy on the phone and try and get what we want.
No.
Then we turn into like, can I talk to your manager? And it's just like, it's like you just
basic white girl shit.
It turns into noise, and whatever you say just turns into like, you're fucking bitching about your boots for your birthday. I'm in India starving.
Right. Here's my theory on this, and in particular women's shoes. I think women have a lot of the same sizes. So certain sizes are popular. Your size is popular. Mm-hmm. That's a popular size. Whenever I try to get shit for you in that size, it's so sold out or on a back order. So here's what I think they do. And this is just a guess. I don't work for Steve Madden. Never have. Saw Wolf of Wall Street with him. That's about as close as contact as I have with Steve Madden.
I saw the documentary.
Yeah. But I think what they do is, since they don't have your size, they want to get your money. So they take your order, they ship you the size, and then by the time you ship it back, then they've probably got your new size in thing. Because the thing is, if you click that button and it says sold out, you're not going to go back there for a couple months. Those are the shoes you wanted. You're probably going to go to another site or try to buy them off eBay. But this ropes you in and is like, hey, we got their money. They're definitely they want the shoes. And then we can play dumb and just say it's the wrong size. By the time they ship them back, new shoes will be in. Bingo, bango, dodge, Durango. We're all fucking done here.
Right.
Yes. So I think I have solved the riddle today.
I'm into that. Because then I called a different number, kind of found in the avenue, and found a white girl that was like super apologetic.
Okay.
And fixed it. And I had been knocked off my high horse. So when I was talking to white girl,
you were already knocked down a peg.
Super sweet. I was like, whatever you can do.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. It happens. Stuff happens. How I usually am.
Oh, James.
How I usually am, right?
Beaten woman. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got beaten by this guy, sent me a sex thing. Totally embarrassed me.
Sure.
Because I was just like, that's what I would fucking do to a bitch like me that was calling about my dumb boots.
Yeah.
That I, whatever.
Beaten woman looking up at the horse, just asking for water. Just, I need them fucking water. I need the water. I'm gonna fucking die.
So sweet to her.
In the mud. You probably kissed her ass.
And she was just like, oh my God. But she was like me too. Like, I am so sorry. I'm going to take 15% off. Can I say when you actually call the right number?
Oh, look at that.
Can I say when you call the right number? Freebird by Steven.
Yeah.
Great customer service.
Okay.
When you call the wrong number, when you call American Tony,
sure,
they'll send you to a sex line.
Well, that's going to happen. I do want to give a shout out to American. By the way, whoever hasn't listened to that American Tony episode I did on Drinking Bros when I called, who was it? AT&T. Look up an episode on Drinking Bros called "Fuck You AT&T." All of these guys overseas are trying to pass themselves off with American names. They're using cue cards and they've got these written responses.
They're all in Jersey.
And I'm like, "Where are you guys located?" "Oh, we're in Jersey." "Oh, really? Because you sound Indian." What's your name? Tony. But it's like all the inflection was wrong on Tony, where you're just like, come on.
It's like
bro.
The Room where he said he's from New Orleans.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from the Big Easy.
Yeah. I'm from Nolans.
Nolans. The Big Easy.
The Big Easy. That's what they do to you.
Right.
I'm sorry that happened to you today.
Well, it's okay. It just reiterates that, like, I am not the person that needs to handle things like that. Like, I need to.
I try to tell you in this life, hey, there's responsibilities that both of us have, and that things we're good at and we're not good at.
Sure.
We know our strengths and weaknesses. That call you probably should have pushed off on me.
Was not my thing.
I would have told that guy to get fucked, 9 ways on Sunday, and describe to him
called him back?
Every single position, of which he could get fucked in. But that's me. I don't like that where it's just like. Simple solution. Wrong size. Send the fucking thing back. We're good. We're on our way. Like,
right.
No big deal. But I'm telling you, in the world of online shopping, which everything is heading this way, I would get used to that. I'd be
interested to hear if that's something that happens.
That's my theory.
Women
and it makes sense because that way they still have your money. You can't get it back, and you can't go to another site. And that's my guess. Maybe a listener out there works for Steve Madden, and we can figure out and solve the.
I love Steven.
We can crack the case.
I'm not saying troll them or whatever. Maybe this one number, but I love them.
Yeah, we get some sponsors that I'm going to take care of. But do you have another gripe too that I want to get to? Yeah. We're gonna be Jables Day today.
Gripe corner.
Yeah.
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
And I want to gripe.
It's my birthday. I'm gonna do whatever I want.
You guys, I have so many things.
Yeah.
Like, I get a lot of bees in my bonnet.
Lots
of things grind my gears.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of salt in your popcorn.
A lot of Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah. Nope. Not at all.
Not one?
Nah, it's not. That's not even close to being one.
Let's get to sponsors.
Shall we? Black Rifle Coffee. Black Rifle. Yeah. BlackRifleCoffee.com is our chief.
Maybe that's why I tried to call.
Chief sponsor.
Because I had some coffee, Black Rifle Coffee, and I go, I can fucking handle this.
Tackle the day. BlackRifleCoffee.com. Boom. I'm holding up their K-Cup box. They are the finest coffee in the biz. I've been drinking this shit for a year. I've been a member of their subscription a month club for a year and a half now at this point. I wear their apparel all the fucking time. Boom. And I get the K-Cups, but they got bags. It's a premium roast to order coffee. Also, follow their Instagram. Their Instagram's great. At Black Rifle Coffee. On Instagram and their stories, and they always have like cool deals running in their stories, and all you have to do is swipe up and you get the dope deal. As always, with the promo code REVOLUTION, you get 20% off. Sign up for the coffee club of the month. It's great. I get it delivered to my house every single month. But I will say this, the Caffeinated as Fuck, which is my brand. It's my brand of smokes that I get from there. The box still says Caffeinated as Fuck. However, the K-cups on the inside just say caffeinated now. I wonder if like little kids are getting a hold of them.
Oh.
Who knows?
Listen, we don't care about that shit.
Yeah, can't go hard all the time, I guess. Next up, we got straightrazors.com. Oh, shooky. Straightrazors.com. Look, they're all of these products are my go-tos every day. Their shaving equipment and their razors and their kits are the finest in the biz. The fact that they added shampoo and conditioner to their fucking lineup these days,
repertoire,
is even more fucking ballerific for me. I'm a gigantic fan of straightrazors.com. Their smolder aftershave is the best in the biz. So if you're looking for like a nice aftershave is gonna like last you a lifetime, where you're like, man, I'm gonna use this the rest of my life. It's fucking smolder. I cannot not use it anymore. So I'm fucked if they ever go out of business. So please support the show. Go to straightrazors.com, get a kit, try out all their man grooming products, and use the promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. You will not regret it. Again, straightrazors.com, promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. Next up, we got strikeforceenergy.com.
Boom.
That hesitation in your voice is probably the hesitation you use for Steve Madden. You can't let him show your weakness. You can't let him see any weaknesses. StrikeForceEnergy.com. These are the boxes. You're going to see these popping up in 7-Elevens all over the United States. I want to say they're already in like 300 right now. Like they're just exploding at a rapid rate. I order them offline, to be honest with you, just because I'm lazy and I don't feel like driving in. These boxes, there's 10 in a box. They're only $9.95 for the fucking box. You squeeze it into it's a tasty, tiny little tin pouch. You squeeze it into any liquid available, and you're good to go. You can use it in anything. They got 4 flavors: original, grape, lemon, and orange. They also have a subscription month club, which I highly recommend. That way it just shows up to your fucking door. You don't have to do shit. And they deliver everywhere in the entire world. So go to strikeforceenergy.com. Use the promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. You can kick the can. You do not need a can of fucking energy drinks anymore. These are all the little guys you need. And they last longer than 5-hour energy. Big fan of strikeforceenergy.com. Again, promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. Last but not least, we got the Caillou app. That's Kayyu. That is dropping March 10th. We're doing it in advance, getting ready for the launch, and they got some exciting shit coming up. They got a party down in fucking Charleston, South Carolina.
That shit sounds fun.
I know, man. I saw their fucking promo video online. It looks dope as fuck. Bunch of DJs. If you haven't been to Charleston, South Carolina, it's just a goddamn party town.
The best.
Big fan. But their new app is trying to get people together from all over the world. Let's say you're trying to split costs and lodging. Concerts, parking, fucking you name it, across the board, lodging. You can meet other people that are going to the same events as you, split the cost, hang out with the people. It's kind of like Tinder too, where you can see the profile pic and decide whether you want to hang and bang with them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, nice little hang and bang. So look out for the Caillou app, Kayyu, that is dropping March 10th. If you get that app, download it. If you're going to all the bars in Charleston after the St. Patty's Day show, you get to drink for free at the bars. All you have to do is show the app at the doors, which is fucking dope as shit. And they're Green Berets who own that company. So awesome. Good fucking peeps at Caillou app. I want to hear this. You were talking to, I'm not going to say her name, but
don't say her name. But it's from another episode that we did, where I was
backtrack it for us for the audience.
I was messaging with this girl from LA, which those are where my friends are. I haven't been here for that long, so that's where my weird friends are.
Sure.
But it's constantly like, it's reminding me now that,
Yeah.
LA's a weird ass place, you guys.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm messaging with this girl about like, oh, I'm trying to have another baby, whatever, just talking about normal life. And she's just like, oh, you're not going to adopt. There's so many kids in the world that need a home.
Right.
I don't think it's a good idea to have more than one kid.
Right.
All of this shit. All of her dogs are shelter dogs.
Of course.
They've all got like the tongue hanging out the mouth.
The Sarah McLachlan dogs.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all look like still shelter
Arms
dogs.
of an angel. Yeah.
Totally.
No matter how much you feed them, they look the same. It's the same raggedy dog.
That same stupid LA logic to a child. By the way, do you know? I mean, with my rap sheet, I can't.
No, you can't do anything.
They wouldn't give us a kid. Are you kidding? Both of us?
Forget it.
Are you
forget
and
it?
It takes so long. Like, that's someone that just doesn't understand the fucking world. So I see this post, that old girl. I guess I'll maybe just keep giving updates on this girl who's the epitome of.
It's your birthday. Fire away, James. This is your day.
This is why I don't have any friends, right? This is why it's like, find Jessie a friend, because
I have other hypotheses on that.
I'd love to hear them in a second, but mine is that I'm in some kind of transition, that I was ridiculous like a second ago, and I'm like in transition to not being ridiculous and being kind of a normal person, right?
Sure.
Moved from LA, got away from that mentality, growing up.
Michael Raymond James talked about that when in our interview, where he was just like, I wanted to get out of LA. This is a ridiculous place, and all of that shit.
Yeah. And you realize, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because look, we're going back next week. And
I love to visit.
So do I. But I will say this: there is friends that I no longer hit up to see when I'm there, where I'm just like, hey, man, I'm good. And because like people hit me up and be like, oh, you're in LA, why don't you hit me up? And I was like, I'm good. I'm fine.
What I have to talk about? Yeah, if I say one thing that's happening in my life, you know, I'm trying to have a kid or something, I get a fucking weird, you should adopt a shelter dog talk.
Yeah.
So she put a post up that said, hey guys, looking for a place in LA for a week for the pups and I. Okay.
Yeah.
So first of all, at our age, we don't like stay at other people's houses, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And especially with your shelter dogs.
Sure.
With your litter of shelter dogs.
It's hard to bring any dog.
You can't.
Into
by the way,
somebody
you guys,
else's house.
You can't, and you shouldn't do it.
No,
by the way,
because the other people feel bad. They're not going to say no. And you're going to take this dog, and that's going to be that. But it's a massive inconvenience.
It's a bigger burden than a child.
Well, that's a little much.
No, because the child you're keeping with you, they're in your space. The dog.
I would still put a dog at second.
Okay. And I'm thinking, no one's going to get back to her on this, right? Like at our age.
Was it on Facebook? Was this a blanket post of like, hey, let's try to blanket the LA area?
So this is a blanket post. By the way, me and her don't really talk after that conversation.
Right. I figured.
This might be bitter.
Yeah. Well, I said that on the show. I was like, you'll never talk to her again.
No, because what the fuck?
Yeah.
But anyways, so I thought no one's going to get back to her, right?
Right.
That's ridiculous. Someone right away gets back. Says, you can stay at my house. You can stay in the RV or you can stay in the house, whichever one you want. And I thought, oh, geez, like she just fucking lucked out, right?
Yeah.
With this dumbass fucking, like if you can't stay in an Airbnb or a hotel, you don't get to go.
Yeah.
You don't get to go. Yeah. Sorry. So she writes, thanks, love. Trying to find a place that doesn't have dogs because Wyatt is so aggressive with other dogs. He doesn't know. We have him in training to help with that. Thanks anyways.
Oh, there's that rescue dog for you. There it is.
Not only are you coming with your dogs, but they're the worst. Aggressive.
Yeah.
They're not good with other dogs.
No.
Probably not with kids or people.
No, not at all. Not at all. That's not a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Who the fuck are you? And this fucking girl's sweet. She looked sweet. That was like, please.
Yeah.
She was gonna take in old girl.
You have two options. You can stay home or RV. Yeah, your call.
Then she wrote back again. Okay, well, the dogs are not really close to the RV, so if you can't find any place, it's just like, who are you?
Wow.
What kind of life is that?
I don't know. Your friends, though, I will say, have always been the oddest, like on the planet, like super weird friends.
I
think it's because of where you grew up and just that whole. And again, you're normal, seemingly.
I'm a little weird though.
Yeah, a little weird, but not. You're practical, whereas everybody else who has grown up in LA, I haven't met any fucking normal people who like kids who are well adjusted and grow up to be adults in Los Angeles. Something's always fucking off. Something's always fucking weird. And LA as a whole, it's a transient city where people are fucking moving in from all over the country. There are very few people that actually live there and were born and raised there.
And I think it's really not conducive to have kids there.
No, not at all.
So
not at all.
There's people that are my age and older that are like, that don't have kids. They think maybe someday they will.
Sure.
Which is irresponsible past 40, but.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're my age being like, maybe someday I'll get married and have kids.
Right.
And you can't have them in LA. And the fast pace, like how much work you have to do to like afford your apartment. You can't even think about having kids. So that puts you also in a bracket of like, you think that you can, like, you're so in your own fucking ass.
Yeah.
And you don't have a kid to put your fucking life into perspective or something else to put your life into perspective. So that you think that you can like ask people to stay at their house with yourself and your shelter dogs.
Yeah.
For a week.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty fucking crazy. But everything is crazy there. I mean, I looked up that last house I tried to buy there right before. I wasn't sure if we were going to stay or whatever. And it was just, the price tag was $699 and it was 2,000 square feet. House, 2-bedroom.
Wait, in LA, that's amazing though.
I want to say like 1950. It was just under 2,000 square feet, right? Well, sure, I guess. But the property taxes on it at the time were around $15,000 a year, which and it's Studio City,
right?
Which is fine. It's cool. There's a lot of shit around there. Obviously close to the studios, and I looked up that property now. It is $1.3 million. Property taxes are up to $28,000. You're essentially keeping somebody on staff. Like that's what an assistant would cost at a Hollywood agency.
Right.
You're paying for an assistant that is not doing anything just in property taxes.
Yeah.
So when you start living in that mentality, you start growing up in houses that are too small, not enough rooms. Weird shit starts to happen in LA. Weird shit starts to happen when you're paying, because at a minimum, the lowest price you've seen for a private school there is $25K a year. So you're paying that from kindergarten on up.
Oh yeah.
All the way to college, and again, all those people out there who are like, oh man, we believe in equality and all that shit. The reason why everybody's in private school is 83% of Los Angeles County is Latino. So it's people who just came in from over the border. They're trying to learn English. So K through 5, and because a friend of ours was a teacher, and I talked to him about it. Like K through 5, they're just teaching English to these kids.
Right.
So like your kid, if you were a normal white kid who grew up there, it's just sitting there, listening to other people try to speak English and learn things. Like you're fucked. You can't go to public school.
Right.
So that mentality alone,
unless you're in Calabasas or Ventura or
yes, but that's way outside of it. You got to get outside of LA. Yeah. So that mentality to start with as a child is already fucking weird. Where it's like, why don't I go to a public school? Why is there no other people of race or any other culture here?
You just get insulated, and I think that's what happens with everybody in LA, and especially like I'm saying, this girl my age in LA with her dogs. It's like. You use Postmates, you use Grubhub, you are on the internet, you Uber, you don't really
that's the other thing
interact.
is the drive to school to these schools is all over because you don't live near the school. You usually live above it in the hills or below it and somewhere else. So you're looking with traffic, drive time every day, about 45 minutes to get to school, 45 minutes after school. Kids in the car, you're stuck in traffic. It's starting out your life like that. I mean, you're just looking at an iPad in the back of the car at that point.
Sure.
And that builds up into the latter stages of life until you go away to college, and then it's a fucking culture shock where you're just like, whoa, this did not go down as I hoped.
Yeah.
These people are dumb.
Yeah.
You start, that's when you get into the Tide Pod, fucking keg stands, all that other shit, and you're not used to that. You've never heard of it, and you're like, oh, all right, cool. Look, you're already at a disadvantage. The people who say it's great and do it, like, celebrities like fucking Matt Damon and George Clooney and all those guys, their kids are never going to have to worry about anything in life anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter what they end up being. Like, They don't need to, like, deal with, trying to find friends. I guess they do, but they will have some built-in rich-ass friends that they play with, whatever.
Yeah.
And you automatically find in your pay... in your tax
friends
bracket, you find friends in your tax bracket because you're going to be going on the trip to wherever, and you
Yep.
If you want friends to come with you, they need to be in your same tax bracket. So it all kind of insulates themselves too. The other thing is I don't want to be super not feminist, but you know that I'm not at all. So there's another thing of like at a certain age when you don't have kids, like you get into this really selfish like world, this really selfish territory. Like somebody that like that watched Jax for us.
Our son, yeah.
And was like, after she watched him, was like, I left my Trader Joe's lotion there. And it was like a fucking emergency.
Sure.
It was like, that was the only, I have to get it. I don't know what you're doing today. I'm like, I'm taking him to school. I'm running around. I'll try and get it to you. But it's like, I really need it. I don't know if you can like mail it or, you know what I mean? I'm just like, that's the kind of shit that's important to you.
It
now.
is. But I will say this, to that point, I remember things before having a child that were important to me that were like that too, where I was just like, if I don't get this fucking Dos Manos burrito from Baja Fresh, dead serious, where I was just like, because you find ways, you don't realize how much time you really do have on your hands and how much time is wasted. And when you don't have a child. But the thing is like, in no way do I look back on my life and say, oh man, I wish I was just single every day and hanging out. Like I enjoy having children and all that other stuff. Like I look back at those times and I was like, fuck, what did I do with all my time? I know what I did. I wrote day in and day out. So like my life didn't change because I was always doing something. I couldn't just sit there and hang out or whatever. I felt lazy. Like it would feel lazy to me, and I've never been like that my entire life. But little things like that, like the Trader Joe's lotion, or I would be like that. Getting food across town, or a coffee, or your one favorite thing that you have or you want to do throughout the day, and it seems like the end of the world. That happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to you too. Where, look, if homegirl decides to have kids, she'll see and she'll be like, oh man, the rest of this is just so fucking stupid.
Right. But that's what I was doing. So I'll tell you what I was doing before kids. Yeah. I was putting a lot of importance on Trader Joe's lotion, probably a little nicer than that, but lotion.
Right.
And I was like pissed at people that brought their kids into restaurants. I thought I probably said out loud, you just don't get to go out. Do you know what I mean? Like, stay at home. Like, I'm sorry. If you have kids, like, that's it.
Yeah.
You can wait until they're older. Get a fucking babysitter.
Yeah.
Like, that shit. Or when I see someone walking on the plane with a kid, I would be like, oh, fuck. You don't get to travel, okay?
Right.
Sorry you had a kid. And like that kind of shit would come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Or I think I would leave it up in the brain, but it would be a real thought that I would have.
All of us. And like the last flight I was on, I was by myself and I was coming back from Salt Lake City. There was a baby, and I was on the red eye, and there was a baby who screamed for 5 hours straight, all the way back east. And literally the looks that I threw behind my shoulder were just daggers. And I was like, I've had a child. I
know. We've had a screaming one.
Yeah. Jax has been pretty good. So luckily, like flying and all that other stuff, travel wise, like we've been good. We've been fortunate. We've been lucky with him. Others have not. But yeah, you're right. Like you've done it. I've done it. We've all fucking done it at some point.
And again, you're saying even with a kid, I do it sometimes.
My last thing to button this story up, by the way, is the following. I don't trust people now over the age of 40 who don't have kids. I don't. Something is wrong. I sometimes I hear you, but I sometimes think like there's part of me that's like, am I doing it right or are they doing it right? Or are both equally right? I just know that I can't really hang out with them that much. Do you know what I mean? Mine is like, look, you can fill it up with hobbies and other shit. Yeah. But to me, it feels like a lonely life. Look, and it's clearly a choice. Like some people just don't want to have them, and that's fine. Like I don't care. And they're probably looking at us like, oh yeah, we're real fucking sad. Like, but look, there is your friends who are cool about it, like Matt. Totally. Matt Best is great. Like, dude, he'll be like, dude, bring the kids, come out, like have fun. He's awesome. But then you have other friends who are just like, yo, you come over, I want to fucking party. Blah, blah, blah. Right. Where you're just like, all right, cool. But like, I'm not going to just leave my wife and kid and just come and rage today. Right. Love to.
Sure.
But not going to.
Yeah.
Definitely not going to.
There's some friends though that I see fucking traveling and like still partying and stuff, and I'm like, are they doing it right? I don't know. They seem happy.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to make myself feel better is when they get old, real old.
Yeah.
It might not be that cute anymore. For
no,
them
and it's just
to be
you.
Like partying
it's just you, and then you drop off. Because look, when you get older and your kids go to high school, college, whatever, you're still gonna have plenty of time by yourself. So from the moment all the way up to you have a child to when that child goes off to college, that's still a lot of time with yourself to really, all right, cool.
You're not really in your prime though, unfortunately, but you can make it work.
Sort of. It
button it up a little bit.
It depends though. Like I have seen like friends of mine's parents who are great, travel, party, do all the shit where you're just like, all right, cool. But it takes money.
Yeah.
And you have to be best friends with your partner in order to do that and live that life, because otherwise, then no, you're, fucking weird, man. Just walking around, doing neighborhood shit, and that's about it. But I don't know. Look, I am going to make this your day today, all the way around, because I read this is Jables' birthday. This is still
sorry.
J Day. AK.
I'm sorry. I know that was all annoying, but
no, it's fine.
Get it off your chest.
Yeah, it's your birthday. Your favorite actor was trending today, on Twitter. Brendan Fraser.
Oh, I love me some Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
My first crush.
You love a little B phrase.
My first crush that I had like tingly feelings about.
Yeah, he's had an odd career.
Yes.
Where he started off strong, crushing it, and then
next big thing
disappeared for 10 years. And I couldn't figure it out. I don't know what it was from. Nobody really did. And he just disappeared off the face of the planet. I heard he had kids, and
didn't he start to do really horrible stuff though? And it was like maybe somebody was like,
no, the Mummy 3 was his last thing, and I don't think it did crazy well, but it did enough internationally that it's like, dude, you don't not get Brendan Fraser for something.
Okay.
But why he was trending is he's back and he's doing TV now, doing a show for FX. And for the first time in like 10 years, he opened up about his life and what had happened. I thought, so before knowing anything about him, I would have said gay. In the closet, didn't want to deal with society or all of that shit, and just said, I've made enough money, I'm good. That was my guess.
Okay.
I've never met Brendan Fraser, and I don't know him. I was pleasantly surprised when I read this article of what really happened to him over the last 10 years. He had 3 children.
Okay.
3 boys. It says he lives about an hour outside of New York City. He's got horses, huge fucking thing, everything.
Dream.
Married, 3 kids. One of the children has autism. So he's been teaching the brothers how to take care of the other brother and all of that stuff. And the biggest thing was, he said it was injuries. He said he got hurt.
On what?
And well, that's what I was thinking. And I was like, man, on what? And I was like, well, those Mummy movies were pretty aggressive. Like, you're doing a lot of green screen stuff, jumping, people are tackling you. Like, I have done very little of that type of work, but the work that I did with like wires and all that shit, I got fucking hurt, and it fucked me up for a couple years. I can't imagine a rigorous schedule, and that was one movie of doing some wire work and shit. And like, I can't imagine doing these big action movies where you want to be the guy and you want to do your own stunts, and that's kind of what the male actor vibe is, and what you kind of feel when you're on set, where you're like, I can fucking do this, dude. I don't need the stunt guy. And the stunt guys are there, and they're just like, and the stunt guys would rather you do it. They don't want to get hurt. They're like, oh yeah,
really?
All right, cool. If you want. I mean, they're nice enough where they're like, hey,
I'm sure they're like,
great,
go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. But they also give you that knowing nod of like, oh, cool, you're gonna get fucked up on this.
Okay,
like, oh yeah, you want to do that?
Cruise.
Yeah, go ahead. Look, there's a reason why Tom Cruise has a broken ankle, isn't limping around the world right now.
Use your stunt doubles,
yes,
guys.
He refuses to. But so did Brendan Fraser, he said. And he said that, after all of these Mummy movies, all of this shit, And he also said the physical comedy from all of those movies, like Encino Man and all of that shit, he goes, I was always constantly falling down. And he's like, if you look back at it, like I was crashing into things. I was the dumb guy who was crashing into things all the time. And he goes, and when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, you're right. Like Brendan Fraser's right. He was always smashing into shit. And he was like the dumb guy who was,
I like a serious Brendan Fraser though.
Well, here's the thing. I have only seen him in one thing serious, and it was Crash.
Oh, well, School Ties.
School Ties was 1991.
I'm just saying, like,
right.
I like
but
the
over the
direction
years,
he was going with the serious
he's
stuff.
Been
of
famous. Yeah. But he's been famous for since fucking 1991 or whenever School Ties came out.
Yes.
That is a long goddamn time and a lot of fucking movies. He's only done a couple dramas. The rest were this physical shit. So he said that his back completely gave out, that over the course of 8 years, he had 7 back surgeries.
Holy shit.
He had to have his knee replaced. And he was like, man, he goes, honestly, I was in too much pain. And he goes, he said he started to become like obsessive and addictive with ice packs, where he goes, it almost became a fetish of how much ice could I put on this to make myself feel better because I was in so much pain every single day. So finally he called it after that third Mommy movie and said, I got to get these surgeries done. He's had 7 in the last 8 years, finally knee replaced, finally feeling good enough, and is getting back in the game now. But I was like, fuck. And when I read this article, like the guy who was interviewing it, it's in GQ, by the way, for anybody who's curious about it. When I read this article, the interviewer said he started tearing up, that he started getting emotional about it, where you could tell how much pain that he was in. Another weird story.
It makes me so sad because we had made fun of him because he popped back up in this show called The Affair.
Yes.
On Showtime, which was like the first time you like saw Brendan Fraser again.
Yeah.
And he was like big and bloated, and you were like,
oh, he was.
Yeah. So you're just like pills. Fuck you. What'd you do? Like, do you know what I mean? I would cry too if the whole world was just like, fuck you. And you're like, dude, I'm in so much pain.
And that was the other side of it. He said it was like, dude, when you're the leading man and you're good looking and all of that shit, if anything is wrong with you, hair, looks, all that stuff, like people start to pile on. And he's like, look, it's,
oh God, I'm gonna cry.
I know. And then he said he was sexually assaulted.
Stop.
Yeah. At the Golden Globes by one of the board members, I guess you would call it, of the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes is awesome and fun, but it's a joke of an association. It's like 30 foreign press reporters. You could pretty much buy off those awards. The studios buy them off. Like everybody knows that. Right. But he said he was at the Beverly Hills Hotel and a guy came up behind him, grabbed his ass, cupped it underneath his cheek, and then rubbed his taint with his middle finger. And this is in the article. And I was like, whoa. And
you're lying to me now.
I swear to God. So this is in the article. He said he filed a complaint, emailed somebody or called somebody or whatever, and they did nothing about it. They interviewed this guy for the story from the Hollywood Foreign Press, and he was just like, this is a total fabrication and a lie, and this never happened, blah, blah, blah. And Brendan Fraser's like, I felt embarrassed and humiliated about it and all of this shit. And I'm like, man, again, when this happens to a dude like a Brendan Fraser or a Terry Crews is suing for that guy who grabbed his dick at a party in front of his wife. You're a big enough. Brendan Fraser's a big guy. Now, he's 6'3", probably 230. That guy. You're gonna tell me some gay guy is gonna stop you from some little gay guy from grabbing your ass, and you're not gonna do anything about it, or choke the guy, and he said he was worried about his career and all that, and I get that, but like, fuck, man, somebody grabs my ass, the first thing I do, man or woman, is turn and grab their fucking hand and say, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Right.
Obviously, if it's a lady, I let him continue.
Ooh,
I'm kidding.
Hey.
No, but you turn and grab him and you're like, yo, what the fuck, bro? That should have been the first response. When I hear these stories like that, I'm like, do we really need to tell that story?
No.
Because he called back in. Like, the reporter had said he left, and Brendan Fraser called him back and was like, hey, man, there was something I never told you, and I really wanted to tell the world, and it was this story.
Brendan.
And he said he was friends with like Rose McGowan and those guys, and they inspired the courage in him to come out and all that stuff. And it was just like, man, you were a big fucking dude, an action star. And at that point, he's in his prime for the Mummies and Crash and all that shit. Like, okay, guys grabbing your ass. Like, dude, if you let him get to the taint from starting with your cheek to the taint.
And you haven't turned around and slapped someone, like.
It's your own problem.
Maybe you.
That's your own issue at that point.
Maybe you were for a second liked it and then
thought it was a lady.
Got pissed that you liked it.
Yeah. Thought it was a lady. So the rest of the article was great. And then he called back for that. And I was just like, don't call back for that.
Don't leave it. Leave it at that.
Yeah,
we like
man.
you.
And he's like shooting.
We like you again.
He's shooting bows and arrows at his property and all that shit. He's got horses that he takes care of. Like, he's got 3 boys. He's a man's man. Where you're like, yo, you really fucking offended that some dude grabbed your ass? Like, fuck, come on. Bro. Just turn around and give him a little rap on the beak. I don't understand that. I don't understand it.
I don't like this idea of like, hey, guys get sexually harassed too.
A little rap on the beak.
A little rap on the beak.
And again, I'm saying this from a place of I've had numerous gay guys hit on me, grab my ass, whatever, out. One of them even grabbed my ding dong. We talked about that on the show.
You didn't feel like your life was in danger.
Nope.
You didn't feel like.
Felt flattered. Hey, congratulations. Like, still got it.
You didn't feel scared.
Still doing it. Nope.
Yep.
Nothing about any of that.
That's the difference that guys that are trying to make it so us too.
Yeah. So
there's a difference between going through your life feeling like it's threatened when you walk out the door.
And like some of my early jobs like I worked, at gay parties and things like that, like for celebrities and shit like that. And it was just like, fuck, nobody was ever, to me as a guy, you're not going to be put in that position unless you want something out of that person.
Right.
So I otherwise, yeah, you can fend off whoever you want. It's, if you're fucking 4'11" and you weigh 110 pounds and there's nothing you can do, or a child, like, that's a different story.
Yeah, you can't compare that to a woman who is like, you could beat me up right now.
Right.
Like, if I say no to you, one of the possibilities, not only losing my job, is that you could actually probably strangle me.
Oh yeah, like the Harvey Weinstein shit is scary.
That's a big guy. Say no, there is a possibility that he could hurt you physically.
Yes.
And you would there's no way a woman can fight him off.
Yeah.
Whereas if a guy gets his taint rubbed, there's no feeling of like, I could get strangled to death right now.
Yeah.
It's literally just like, that sucked.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it sucked, and I'm sure it did not feel good. Well, it did. But
you
didn't like that it felt good.
Yeah. So
Brendan, he's huge.
He's huge. He's a big man. I don't get it. So that was the only disappointing part of that story.
I went from like, I'm going to cry, I love you.
To like, hey, man, you don't have to call back and say you got your taint rubbed. And by the way, he specifically uses the word taint in the article, which is like.
You gotta love it. You got to love it, because you have to let them know that it wasn't just the butt.
It was like the taints.
You went all the way
It was the taints.
To the taint.
Yeah. So
I need to say one thing. If you don't have kids.
Wow, you're going back, huh?
I feel bad.
You're going back.
For a second. If you don't have kids, you may be doing it right.
Okay. Yeah.
You may be doing it right. I have no idea. I envy you. 60% of the time. I go, oh, fuck. Wouldn't that be great? And I don't know what the right way is. I don't know if it's to have kids or to not have kids. So it sounded before a little bit like I was like, if you don't have kids, you're an idiot.
Right.
Which a lot of our listeners probably don't.
No,
because they can't. So like, I don't want to get into territory of like, you can't have kids.
If you can't have kids, it's a different story.
But you never know people's issues. But like,
sure.
There is a definite difference between people that do and
100%,
people that don't.
Yes.
I don't know which one is better. Probably me.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, then I go right back into it.
Yeah, we can just turn that. We can just turn the boat around on this one and head back to shore.
What else do you have for my birthday?
I want to say this, just because the Olympics are down and out in Beverly Hills and the ratings are in the toilet and America's not winning anything. I like last night. It was late. I saw the USA women's hockey team was trending, and I was like, huh. And it says they're going for gold, and they were playing Canada. And I was like, fucking.
Like, no way.
There can't be that many people super jazzed about women's hockey.
Women's hockey.
And I want to say that I've never watched it before, except for when it was introduced, like, I don't know, 20 years ago, whenever it was. And it was like games were 18-0. They could barely skate. It was fucking ridiculous. And I was like, this is dumb. This is just another sport of women proving that they can do the same things as men, and it's fucking awful. So I turned this on last night, fully expecting the same results. No, I was sorely mistaken. And I want to apologize to the women out there of hockey that I had no idea how far the game has come and how far their skill sets have come. It was fucking awesome.
Really?
Yes. Skills, virtually the same as a man. They could skate faster than men. They were quicker, more agile. They were relentless on that fucking ice. And they weren't lumbering or slow pace or looking for big hits into the glass because it slows the game down. You know, and it's kind of tiresome when it's just like big guys, you know, bumping each other into the glass every single play. There's not a lot of shots on goal, all that shit. This is the opposite for women. I mean, they're flying around the rink, fucking ripping shots on goal the entire game, and where I was just like, oh fuck, and I was like, I can't turn this off, and it became like 11:30, 12:30,
and it was still on
1:30, still on, and I was like, shit. I can't go to bed yet because I've got to finish this out. And I was thinking about it. I was like, oh man, the West Coast is in the heat of this. And they were probably the ones that are firing up Twitter because that's prime time for them.
Right.
East Coast is super late. And I looked up the ratings this morning and the ratings were awful on the game simply because the game was too late for anybody to see on the East Coast. So you automatically lose half your audience. But I stayed up and it went to overtime. Unbelievably exciting overtime, ripping shots, amazing. And then it went to a shootout after that. Even the shootout went into extra shots, and the ladies won the gold. I mean, it was like a piñata went off full of American shit all over the ice. Some of the women from Canada didn't want the silver medal. They hadn't lost in 20 years.
They're like, we don't take silver.
Yeah. I mean, because hockey is Canada's sport. That is not ours.
Undeniable.
Exactly. So for us, for the USA to beat Canada in hockey was a big deal. And again, they hadn't lost in 20 fucking years. It was really, really fucking cool to see. And I was like, oh shit, the Olympics are back. And I looked at my watch. The last shot didn't go down till like, I don't know, 1:55 East in the morning on East Coast time. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. It's probably just me that's up on the East Coast, and the Olympics are not back. Sure enough, the ratings were awful, and it was just
of course.
But that was the most exciting. Yeah. Besides Shaun White, that was the most exciting part of the Olympics. And I was like, fuck.
Yeah, on the news it said, like my little news alert. It's like while you were sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. Did it say while you were sleeping?
It said while you were sleeping. I thought, judgy.
Fucking knew it.
I said judgy. You don't know if I'm partying. You don't know what kind of person I am.
So that was cool. And then the other story like that was up and which was late, that kind of broke, was Michael Rappaport got fired from Barstool Sports.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
And talking shit on their fans. So
on their fans?
Yeah. He got on and made a comment and said Barstool fans are known as Stoolies. They're the Stoolies.
Okay.
Is it a weird name? You bet.
Sounds like
Stoolie
poop.
Back in the day, back in our parents' generation, that was code for snitch. So if you were a Stoolie, you were fucking snitch.
Oh.
I get it. Look, I love Barstool Sports, and I'm saying this from a place of love. Yeah. Just you need a different nickname for your,
sure,
for your crew than Stoolies.
Sure.
Not only for it being the old code for snitch, but it also sounds like stool sample.
Right.
So maybe just come up with another one. Take that advice or not take that advice. You can do whatever you want.
Up to you guys.
But what you can't do is insult your own fans. And so what he did, because Michael Rappaport was under the Barstool Sports moniker.
Oh, yeah.
Was he got on Twitter and just said, anybody who's calling themselves a fucking stoolie is a goddamn loser.
Why? I mean, why was he saying that?
The explanation,
the LeBron James sitch?
More than that. Okay. They were not happy about his consistent comments on Trump, the fans. They were not happy about his consistent hatred for LeBron James.
But then his all of a sudden turning around and loving him?
Yes.
Maybe they didn't like that.
Yes.
I didn't like
that. So, there was a bunch of comments on that over the weekend.
Huh.
And this is what led him to say that. About his, switching his stance on LeBron James. the president of Barstool Sports, a guy named Dave Portnoy, was like, he made the video from bed firing Michael Rappaport and just said, dude, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, literally, you could tell the guy just woke up. And he goes, man, I just woke up to fucking 50,000 texts. He goes, I just got back they just bought Rough and Rowdy, that boxing tournament in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And he goes, man, I just got back. I just wanted to fucking sleep. The phone's going off a million times. That you've insulted all of our fan base. He goes, you work for Barstool Sports. I started Barstool Sports. He goes, and he was brutally honest. He goes, look, I have a private jet. I have a home in Nantucket. I have the most amazing life I could possibly have in New York City because of the fans of Barstool Sports. And he goes, why would you fuck this up? And he goes, I love you, man, but you just need to shut the fuck up sometimes. Like, this is crazy. But Michael Rappaport had gotten into it with the Barstool fans over and over and over again. And what I didn't know, what I found out last night was it turned out most of the Barstool fans hated Michael Rappaport. They just... most of their fans are Trump guys, partiers, that type of shit. It's just the opposite life of what Michael Rappaport is.
Yeah.
So, I would have thought to myself, it's a clean break or whatever. No, Rappaport went on a rage against Barstool Sports, and Barstool Sports in turn went on a rage about him, and drove his show to number one. That's what drove the show, Rappaport's show to number one. And at the crux of it was apparently what really stuck in Michael Rappaport's craw. And again, he's been on the show. I like Michael Rappaport as a person.
Me too. And
it was we did a great show with him. It was fantastic. I would happily have him back on. He's a good dude in real life, and he invited us into his house. And this one I will side with Rappaport on. What he was pissed about was originally the president of Barstool Sports sent a text to him before he made this video saying, hey, man, I got to fire you. Like, you can't fucking insult the fans, all this other shit. Mm-hmm. There is an NFL insider who does all of the NFL news across the board. He breaks every NFL story there is, named Ian Rappaport. The text he sent went to Ian Rappaport, not Michael Rappaport. Therefore, Michael Rappaport didn't know that he was getting fired until he saw that video on Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
So he had to go back and...
Where did you hear all this?
So Michael Rappaport did a show.
Okay.
He did a show explaining this whole situation. That's how it went to number one.
Got it.
And he went on a half-hour rant fest ripping Barstool, their fans, every single person that works for them. And when I say every single person, I'm talking every single fucking person that works there for a good half hour straight. So after this gold medal game ended, I listened to that show for another half hour. That's why I didn't come to bed till like 2:30 in the morning.
It's him. There's on his feed, it's him like ass raping.
Yes.
Is that the Barstool Sports guy?
Yes.
And it was like
that's the president.
R.I.P. him, and like this show's burning it down. R.I.P.
So that's the president. So part of me was like, maybe this is a publicity stunt that they're doing. You know, they're both in on it, gets ratings, because the top 5 shows on iTunes were all Barstool Sports shows, including Rappaport's.
Okay.
But the logo was gone from Barstool Sports on his. Yeah. And he went after every single person so aggressively. I mean, I love it. It's an amazing... if you get a chance to listen to Michael Rappaport going hard against Barstool Sports, holy shit. I mean, he called people out for doing steroids. He said the president was ugly, that he was trying to make himself look good. He thought he looked good. I mean, it did not fucking stop. Rappaport was like, your fucking talent at Barstool Sports sucks. Your on-air guys suck. And he goes, I like Pat McAfee. And he goes, that's about it. But let's be honest, he's not Rappaport. And he goes, he's not funny as me. He's not as quick as me. He doesn't rant like me. And I was just like,
he's not wrong. Like,
shit.
You know?
Yeah, look, Rappaport is great. I think, me personally, though, he didn't used to be like this. And neither did most of these celebrities, by the way. Like, he's gone too far down the rabbit hole politically, where it's just... that's a tough thing to dig yourself out of now. And, you're alienating a lot of fucking fans. And I think
when you could just be funny and fucking talk shit and fucking he needs his rap knowledge is fucking unparalleled.
Yeah.
Like, he could be that guy.
And especially when you're doing a sports show like Rappaport is doing, there really is no need for politics. I mean, you're asking athletes about their life, their game, all that other shit. Maybe some political stance that are taking towards whatever there is.
He was disjointed in what he was going after. Like in the beginning, he was all talking about actors. He was talking about acting and rap and kind of,
film, more film and music.
Then he moved into fantasy football.
Barstool bought him.
Right, but before that, he was moving into fantasy football.
Yeah.
And then it was like, he wasn't much talking about what he was talking about before. And then it was like he moved into hardcore sports. It was all sports. And then Barstool got him. But then it's like
Barstool got him because he got into sports. But what the president said and what other members of Barstool Sports are saying of like, look, Rappaport was trying to make his show bigger, and he's like, dude, I'll post the text messages of him constantly hitting us up saying, yo, I want to be here and I want you to promote my show and blah 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 blah. So like I think with Rappaport's show, a lot of those, the reason why the show got big is because you brought in all those Barstool fans.
Yep.
That was a big fan base, and for you to turn and shit on them is tough, and especially when you switch what your show used to be to what it is now, and you start going hardcore politics when people don't really want to fucking hear about that shit. If you want to hear a political show, you're going to go to like Pod Saves America or things like that. We talk about politics on the show, and people know that. But we're not billing ourselves as a sports show.
Right.
We have athletes on, and it's great. But we don't bill ourselves as a sports show.
No, we mostly just talk about Steve Madden and
pop culture.
Yeah.
Day-to-day shit that goes on and topical stuff in the news.
Yeah.
So if I suddenly switched and started railing on a candidate over and over and over again on social media and that, fans would be turned off by it. And I get that. So like him firing him from Barstool Sports isn't really surprising at this point. Just because I follow Michael Rappaport on social media. But I will say this, trying to recover, the thing that Barstool is missing is big personalities.
Look, we'd work for Barstool in a second.
Yeah. Because I
open invitation.
Yeah, I enjoy Barstool, and
I do, and
I like sports. I like all their events. When we went back to the Ohio State game, they do live shows the same way we do live shows, and yes,
they cover things across the board too. So like, our format would kind of fit in there too. But just saying, I'm surprised that Rappaport would mess that up. So I know I'm not surprised at why he's fired, but I'm surprised that he would go there because this is a huge step for him and his podcast. Like I said before, he wasn't even on the chart. And
you're on, with the Barstool deal, Barstool got SiriusXM. They have their own channel on SiriusXM 24 hours a day. So his podcasts were playing on SiriusXM radio as well. So like, that's another fucking huge audience to throw away. But look, Michael Rappaport, to a man, has been making money for years. He's done well in acting for years and years and years. Realistically, he doesn't need that money. He probably needed the exposure from Barstool Sports, as do any podcast, because it's...
He got a divorce. So.
Well, still, he's fine. Atypical's paying him well on Netflix. He was on White Famous on Showtime.
Okay.
And the podcast money is good. Let's not.
Just from his sponsors.
Let's not pretend it's not. So he's fine. But you're losing that audience. So for him, I'm sure he doesn't care now because his show is big. It doesn't really matter. People are tuning in, and he doesn't need anybody anymore. But
I wonder if he can still get those, because he was getting a bunch of people in the sports world, big names,
right?
Because of the Barstool logo.
I think he's made a name for himself enough now that it doesn't matter.
Would they go against Barstool?
Yeah, because there's not a big personality besides Pat McAfee on Barstool Sports that can have the type of rapport with these guys. So like, I don't know who replaces them. They have a couple guys over there that have big followings. I'm not I'm not a fan of them. I'm with Rappaport on this. I really like McAfee. Pat McAfee's great. The rest of their lineup though is pretty boring to me and unimpressive, and nobody's that quick. And that all happened last night, and I was like, oh shit. And the show was dope. I listened to a Rappaport show, and it was great. I mean, I haven't heard somebody go hard like that in a long time.
When he gets pissed.
Yeah, he went all in for like a half hour.
He's good.
Yeah,
he can really tear you down.
He's a fast dude. I wouldn't say he's faster than me, but I would say it's second.
I'm sure he'd say the same.
No,
because you guys are very alike in that way.
Not a fucking prayer.
You're very alike in that way.
I would light him up one-on-one if it came to it. There's no need for that on a show, though. You know, if we did a sports show together in the morning, sure. But having each other on each other's podcast, there's no reason for that. Sure. But there was also no reason for this Al Franken story that popped up, and this is the last part. I don't know how long this show's been going on, but this is the last thing I'll say. Story-wise, that I read, that was fucking insane to me. Okay. And all this shit popped up super late last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much info. I can't wait to do a show tomorrow.
Right.
Super stoked.
Let me just fall right asleep.
Boy, it was great. Al Franken. Obviously was fired for sexual harassment. Not fired, but he
forced to step down.
Yeah, essentially fired by the Democratic Party because they all asked him to step down. He stepped down, resigned, kind of said a fuck you on the way out to President Trump and everybody else, and deuced. Newsweek has been going through trouble. A lot of trouble, as is a lot of print magazines. They're going out of business. I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it at all. All of these news outlets are going out of business that used to sell magazines. They're gone. So they had just literally fired half of their staff. They hadn't been paying writers, editors, nothing. Like the checks were bouncing. Like it's a really fucking weird sitch over at Newsweek. Okay. I heard that there's a fire sale over there just trying to sell the brand, and the president's just trying to get the fuck out of there. Like all hands on deck. We're about to hit bankruptcy here, and that's why this is happening. So they had this story that ran maybe 3 or 4 days ago. That they wrote a story that said Russian bots were behind the Al Franken sexual harassment story. And they said that Russian bots had propelled this story with this woman to the top of Twitter, and then they kept it on Twitter for 3 or 4 days straight, pressuring him to resign, and this was all Russia that did this. And because that's part of the FBI investigation that Russian bots were doing this other thing for the election and blah, 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 blah. Newsweek prints this huge exclusive story that they cracked this case, and everybody was like, I fucking knew it from the left. I knew it. It just didn't seem fair or whatever. Meanwhile, I'm thinking to myself, you still have the picture. Like Russia didn't put the picture up of him squeezing that girl's tits. She did that. She had her own news conference and all that other shit, and it was like, this seems a little off to me.
Right.
They retracted their story last night. Turns out this story was not true in Newsweek whatsoever. Not only is their bad week getting even worse, but now you can't even trust them as a news organization, along with whatever their financial woes are. And they're fucking done at that point and cooked. Like how you can print a story that big anymore and expect to get away with that without fact checking or doing anything. Like it seems to me like all of these outlets are just throwing shit out in desperation against the wall, hoping it'll stick, just to get these last clicks or, whatever you can possibly get before you can sell your company. Right. New York Times is down to fucking 40% of their original staff. Like, cause newspapers are gone as well. They're trying to do this, subscription-based thing, but news is news. You can find it on Twitter, and they're all done at this point. But that Newsweek article, I was like, oh boy. You could tell there was probably a meeting that they got together, and they were like, hey guys, like amongst like probably the top 4 people there, and we're just like, all right, guys, bankruptcy is about to kick in, but we have maybe a pending sale, like something's about to go through. What do we do? what kind of story can we throw out there and not get
as
sued?
Bad as politicians.
Yes. And this is one story that I was thinking about. I was like, you can't sue for this. Al Franken's certainly not going to sue you because he would love to say that it was Russian bots that got him fired. He's not going to sue you. Certainly the Russian bots aren't going to sue Newsweek. Right, it's a safe story that you can chuck out into the air, get a bunch of clickbait, get everybody talking about your magazine a couple more weeks, and then try to go for a sale to somebody. And I was just like, fuck, is this what we've come to? This is it. This is what we've come to. Like,
that it's all a business.
Yes. And I would start expecting this from every other news outlet, left and right, by the way. The Blaze is for sale. Homeboys, websites. It's Glenn Beck. That's his name.
Okay.
That website is for sale because Glenn Beck got hit by lightning in the middle of the fucking night or whatever it was, and switched and became a Democrat. And he started railing against Republicans, that built the Blaze, that built him, that made him $1 gajillion. He found Jesus. I think he had some type of cancer or something. I don't know, but he is 100% different person now, and he's getting rid of that network. And I heard Ben Shapiro is buying it.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's in LA.
Nice.
He's going to take it over, and that's going to be his platform now. So expect a lot of this going down in the media industry. And expect some, but out of it, expect some new people to rise. Like Ben Shapiro is one of those people where, look, our listeners for this show and Drinking Bros are like, dude, get Ben Shapiro on. You guys will get along. He's great. I listened to him in one of his earlier shows because he was promoting himself on Facebook, and same as we do, promoting himself on Facebook, and an ad popped up. We pay for ads as well to get the show out there, and I watched part of it, and I was like, meh, it was okay. Years have gone by now, and I think he's great now. He found his voice, and he's fucking awesome, and that is going to start happening, I think, more and more, where some of the talent, younger people, are now going to come up and take down either these old magazines or these old websites with Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck has fucking been doing this for 30, 40 years at this point. Rush Limbaugh is the next to go. There's going to be a new wave of people that are taking over. Tomi Lahren was one who worked for the Blaze. They fired her because they said some shit. She's super conservative. When Glenn Beck stopped being conservative, they didn't like what she said, so they suspended her. Then they tried to fire her. Then they wanted her social media account, which was worth the most. And she said, "Look, you can fire me and do all you want. I have a severance package and all of that shit, but I want that fucking social media account. It took me years to build that and get these millions of followers." And they caved and gave it to her. She had a non-compete clause for, 6 months or a year. The second it was over, she got hired by Fox News. And again, Bill O'Reilly was an old guy over at Fox News. And then you got taken out. Tucker Carlson's in. Tomi Lahren's over there. Young blood is coming up out of the depths of this in the podcast world and this online world, and is knocking out some of these old guys and old magazines. And I expect that trend to continue. So who knows, Jables? You and I might be at Barstool Sports.
Hey, listen, I'm down.
We'll find out. I'm curious as what they'll think of our next sports interview that's it's coming out in a few weeks. If this goes down, we'll find out who it is. But in the meantime, we're going to get to the revolutionary figure of the day, shall we?
We shall.
The revolutionary figure of the day. I'm actually going to go back to this for the USA lady hockey team. A lot of people were comparing their win to the 1980 men's team, the Miracle on Ice team that hadn't won. And they could never beat Russia. Russia was the powerhouse who was killing them all the time. Canada was the powerhouse that was beating the ladies. And those guys came out and pulled off a miracle. I mean, a true miracle. They were going against professional players from Russia, and it was all these college kids, and they ended up winning. It's a lot what it felt like last night with these women for the United States. The goalie for the United States team was 20 years old. Dang. 20. Stopping that much firepower from women who have been playing 4 and 5 Olympics. she was going against, one of their best players was 32 for Canada. And it's like, dude, you're in a shootout where it depends on the goalie and the person that's trying to score on you. And it's a fucking 19, 20-year-old girl going up against these fucking old pros from Canada. And it was spectacular. So that's what it reminded me of. And it was fun to watch. Congratulations to USA Women's Hockey. And happy birthday, Jables.
Yeah, I kind of thought that you would say maybe like my mom or something for having me.
No.
Because she was like a revolutionary.
Sure.
For having.
She had a kid, same as everybody else.
Or maybe it was going to be me for like the revolutionary. Because I'm pretty.
Happy birthday, Jables.
Thanks.
You were loved by many. You all
4 to 5 people.
4 to 5 people. Now you're starting to pull up steam. Like people are online saying, "I'm number 8, I'm number 9, I'm number 10" on our Instagram feed.
I think this episode will definitely knock a couple of those out.
Yeah. You can go to Ross Patterson Revolution on Facebook and on Instagram. I think you were up to 9 or 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is nice.
If I lose a couple.
But happy birthday, Jessie. I love you. For Jessie Wiseman, a.k.a. the Jables, I am Ross Patterson. This is The Revolution. Good night, everyone.
Good night.